Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE NXT episode 560 and NXT UK episode 92, which are broadcast on May 6th and 7th, 2020. To start things off, real quick, talking about NXT UK. This week's episode was all about Imperium. We had some interviews and other framing devices throughout this episode talking about Imperium and the backstories of all the matches that they showed. And those matches were Walter's debut versus Jack Stars on January 30th, 2019. That was his in-ring debut. He had appeared before that. I think he first showed up at Takeover Blackpool earlier that month after the championship match, if I remember correctly, but there's a good chance I don't remember that correctly. Then we had Walter. He might have shown up during the tapings right after that, but it's been a while since I've seen that takeover. But then we had Walter versus Pete Dunne from May 22nd, 2019. This is a rematch from WrestleMania weekend that year, where Walter won the championship, and Walter was successful in defending it. Then we had British Strong Style versus Imperium. This was a 3-on-3 match, and then was the debut of Alexander Wolf as part of Imperium from June 12th, 2019. And then finally we got to see a replay of Worlds Collide, the Worlds Collide match, Imperium versus Undisputed Era, from January 25th, 2020. And this match was Imperium was at a disadvantage because Alexander Wolf was injured early on in the match, and that was not a planned thing, if I remember that correctly. That just something went wrong, and so he was taken out by the medical staff, and then had to continue and really call things even more on the fly than they maybe would normally would have. That match was awesome. I really enjoyed that whole pay-per-view, and totally worth checking out that match as well. So this was a really cool theme for this episode. Sounds like next week they're going to go back to having some more of the NXT UK folks choosing their favorite matches from through the ages. Something like that. Okay, so heading back to NXT episode 560. I enjoyed this episode overall. There's some great stuff throughout it, but at the same time, it feels like it's impossible for a title change to happen on the weekly show now. Like, we had 2 title matches on this episode. Fortunately, we will definitely have an interim champion crowned at the end of this cruiserweight tournament. So that is a definite thing that will happen. But I am really rooting for Imperium to win the tag team titles next week, just so that we get some sense of, okay, this can actually happen. It's not just a given that the defending champion will retain the championship. Not that I wanted Adam Cole to lose to Velveteen Dream in this instance. I did want Charlotte to lose to Io Shirai. Technically, she did lose, but she didn't drop the championship to her. But I'll get to that more as I run down what happened. First, we had Johnny Gargano versus Dominik Dijakovic. Gargano has a new theme song, a new catchphrase, all heart, no soul, his graphics say. Gargano wins after Candice comes out and distracts Dominik a bit. And Gargano hits his DDT that is called One Final Beat. Next up, we had Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher in the Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. And Tozawa won this match, bringing his record up to 2 wins, 0 losses. After that, Imperium challenges for the tag titles, or they issue a challenge to the tag titles. Later on, Matt Riddle and Tim Thatcher, they accept that challenge. But then we had Zyo Lee versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea was wearing like that wedding dress runner that she hasn't worn. I think the last time we saw it in NXT was maybe like the Worlds Collide Battle Royal from last year, that was filmed in Brooklyn. But back then, she still had the full-on hot mess gimmick going, which wasn't explained or anything at the time. It was just like what her character was. It wasn't explained in NXT anyway. But yeah, I'm excited if this means that we're headed back in that direction. If this is just like one small element of that gets added in more and more. But yeah, Chelsea Green won because of involvement by Aaliyah. And in an interview afterwards, Aaliyah was praised for her go-gettedness, or her willingness to go out and take action like Chelsea Green does. So I think we could see Aaliyah joining the Robert Stone brand, which I think is a much needed thing for her to get her a more focused thing to do. And surely Vanessa Bourne will be joining the Robert Stone brand soon after that. This could be pretty cool. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Up next, we had the debut of Karrion Kross and Scarlett. And the graphics that they had before this happened, it said Karrion Kross and Scarlett debut. And the way the fonts were, it looked like debut was Scarlett's last name. I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, the entrance was really cool. We had Scarlett singing, or she was lip syncing to the music, but she's confirmed that it is her singing the track on the music. So it'll be cool to see if they do live performances of it, because I thought the lip syncing is a little bit over dramatic, and so it didn't match up very realistically. Whereas if she was actually singing it, or if she wasn't even, like, if she was actually singing it, but not, they just didn't use have the sound on for her singing it, I think that would work a lot better than her lip sync, if that makes sense. Especially because there's no crowd, so they don't have to really worry about that, like picking up the sound of her singing in the arena. Anyway, again, caught up way too much on that, as are a lot of people, because overall the entrance is awesome. And then when the lights turn on, Leon Ruff is already, poor Leon Ruff, he just keeps getting destroyed by everybody. But he's already in the ring, and I just laughed really hard, thinking he was standing there the whole time, just thinking, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, this is bad. But of course, Karrion Kross wins the match pretty easily. Then we had the interview where Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher accept that challenge from Imperium. I there was some funny stuff, but I didn't write down any of that. But Thatcher says, you knock out and I'll tap out, which is kind of unnecessary. Only one of them needs to do one of those things. But if they do both at the same time, I guess that's pretty fun, calling the shot moment sort of thing. Then we have Yosh Roy versus Charlotte Flair. I was really hoping that Io would win, and she did technically win because Charlotte got fed up with not winning and attacked Io with a kendo stick. Rhea Ripley appears. Io is really upset that Rhea Ripley got involved. This is after Io was already attacked, and then Rhea just kept saying, "Shut up, Io! Shut up, Io!" And then backstage, they get into a brawl while Rhea is getting interviewed. So, yeah, I'd much rather see these two fighting than anything with Charlotte here on NXT anyway. But I was hoping that Io would win, and then Charlotte would go back to doing, like she would fly in on her helicopter to get the briefcase at the last minute at Money in the Bank. She could do it without even getting off the helicopter. She just like is on the ladder, and then just like the ladder from the helicopter. Technically, she'd be climbing a ladder to get to it, and it's probably even more dangerous than anything else anybody else would be doing. But I don't think that's going to happen now that she still the champion, which is a bummer on both fronts. I would love to see that. Maybe we'll still see Brock Lesnar do that. And then we have Jake Atlas versus Kushida. This is a Block A tournament match. Jake Atlas has a win over Drake Maverick. Kushida now has a perfect record. He is along with Tozawa, he is also at two wins, 0 losses. So it is still possible for Drake Maverick to get into the final because he has 1 win, 1 loss. If Tony Nese defeats Jake Atlas, then Jake Atlas is out of the final. And if Drake, so this has to happen in the remaining 2 matches, and then Drake Maverick has to defeat Kushida to equal his record, 2 wins, 1 loss, and then if there's a tie, it comes down to their head-to-head record. In which case, this would go to Drake Maverick because he would have just defeated Kushida head-to-head. However, I don't know how it would go if Jake Atlas also wins against Tony Nese, because then it would be a 3-way tie. I'm pretty sure it would be a 3-way tie. It would be 6. It would be 6 wins. There's 6 possible wins, 6 possible losses, and all of the losses would be on Tony Nese. So I don't know how it would work in that situation because that ends up being a rock paper scissors sort of win hierarchy, because then Jake Atlas would have defeated Drake Maverick head to head, but Kushida would have defeated Jake Atlas head to head, and Drake Maverick would have defeated Kushida head to head. If so, I don't know how that would work, but it's yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. I'm pretty excited to see Kushida versus Drake Maverick. If that's his last match, it's going to be, it's going to be exciting to watch. Then we had Finn Balor come out to speak at a podium, which is kind of weird. I don't think I've ever seen that podium there before. Maybe that's his own that he brought from home. But he uses lots of insider terms. I forget which insider terms he used. Getting the push, coming attacking, and getting a push for attacking the top person. But he says if you're looking to get the push, it's going to be a squash, and it seems like he's addressing. It seems like it's addressing Karrion Kross, because he mentions like you get the push, you get the smoke and the lasers and all of that, which we just saw with Karrion Kross's debut. So it seems like he suspects that he is the one who's getting that, but it might not be him, because then we had Cameron Grimes versus Denzel Dejournay. Cameron Grimes wins in like 20 seconds, maybe, totally destroys him, and then he cuts a promo saying like, hey, it wasn't me, but if it was, I would say it straight to your face and all that. And Finn Balor comes back out, and Finn is like, what? You say you're gonna slap me and all this? And he's like, no, I was saying if I did want to say that, I would say it to your face. But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I did say that, like that whole kind of situation. Finn didn't like that. He beat the crap out of him. So, is Cameron Grimes the one who attacked him? I don't think so, but it could be. But I don't think so. I think it was Karrion Kross. But that could be a misdirect too. It could be somebody else entirely who I haven't even seen it. It could be Dexter Lumis. I think Dexter Lumis also has I'm trying to remember the last time he had an official entrance. I think he also has at least lasers. At the very least, at the very least, he has lasers. And then we have Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream for the NXT Championship. Undisputed Era at one point comes out, or at least Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong do, and they are met by the Dexter Lumis skittering out from underneath the ring, fighting them off. But it may have been a distraction to Adam Cole's benefit, because as Dexter Lumis attacked them, he sent one, I think it was Roderick Strong, he sent them sailing into the referee, and that took out the referee while Velveteen Dream had a very strong pinfall situation. He should have won in that instance, but the referee was out of action, and then Adam Cole was able to hit the last shot and successfully defend his championship. So, was Dexter Lumis, was that on purpose? Was he helping Velveteen Dream, or was he pretending to help Velveteen Dream while actually not helping him? Or it could have just been an accident, and he was actually trying to help Velveteen Dream. I don't know. I don't think he's helping anybody in particular. I think he just sees opportunity and strikes when it happens, because he's always ready. He's always got his kill gloves on, and I'm sure somewhere in the back at Full Sail he has got a whole room just completely covered in plastic sheets, ready for whatever he does back there. So I made an Animal Crossing. I got a loom, and then I of course I have a desk, so I put them next to each other just out in the middle of a field, and so I'm going to start doing that with more wrestlers. So that's Dexter Lumis is that one. So I need more furniture puns to happen. That's the only one I've come up with so far, and it should have been, I should add a chair to it, so it's Desk Chair Lumis, but I was pretty happy with just Dexter. It's hard to say. It's hard to read too. It's a lot of work. That whole pun is a lot of work. But anyway, I'm excited for SmackDown. I have my digital antenna installed, so I can watch it as it airs in the Rocky Mountain time, in the Mountain Time Zone, not the Rocky Mountain. It is the Rocky Mountains that it refers to, but in the Mountain Time Zone, so I'll be an hour late, so I'll be able to avoid spoilers. I'm able to avoid spoilers when I watch it a whole day late. No, I'm not. What am I talking about? I see all the spoilers when I do that. But hopefully this way I will be able to avoid the spoilers, because it's only an hour, 2 hours that I have to go without, 3 hours I have to go without checking social media and stuff. But yeah, it's the go home show for Money in the Bank. I really hope we have some type of NXT takeover special of some fashion, where all the championships are defended and all of that, so that we get some sense of, and I hope that Imperium wins next week, but that we get some sense of, okay, these title reigns aren't just stalled. Things can actually progress. We're not just like treading water with everything right now, because it really feels like that to me, right? The last like 3-4 weeks, because we've had a few championship matches, and I mean normally that's fine that they get defended, but the week that it was like 2 weeks of the takeover matches, no title changes there. So it felt like, well, was it really that big of a deal then? Was it really like a takeover? Because already the last few takeovers there hadn't been any title changes either, because all the champions were involved in other stuff. So I don't know. I don't think we've had any title changes since, other than at WrestleMania. I don't think we've had any title changes since for like forever. Even Pete Dunne, we haven't had it since Takeover Portland in February. But Anyhow, let me know what you thought about this week's episodes of NXT and NXT UK by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast.